Hi, everyone. It's been a while. So, we have been through so much, and I want to thank you for sticking by me while I'm going off on my adventures and trying to come back to YouTube as I'm helping people and living my life. And um, it's the end of the year 2023. We are about to go into 2024. These last 4, 5, 10, 15 years have been an adventure. So, uh, I am dedicating my one of my goals this next year is to come back on YouTube full time. So I will be. Uh, I'm not going to say what I'm going to be doing because I'm going to be probably doing a lot of things. But I'm going to be doing what I'm called to do. So whatever that is, some days I may want to do mediumship, some days I may want to do tarot, some days I may want to do astrology. The Because we've all had things that we're finishing our cycles. There's these big, big cycles that are finishing up. We are moving into new territory. And one of those for me is to be authentic. That's what I've been hearing from my higher self, from the universe, from spirit, whatever you want to call it, uh, is to be authentic and to be happy in what I do. I don't want this type of work for me. For me, this is me personally. I don't want this type of work to become work, right? But we've been so ingrained and brought up in this society that you have to work, 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 work. And we know that those things are changing. There's so much going on uh, where the planets and the stars can explain how this is going on and why we see the things the way that we see. Um, there's so many other videos that I can do, but because this is the end of the year, let's look at what's going on into the next year. So I've written a whole bunch of notes, uh, and we'll go through them. This is probably going to be a really long video, but I just wanted you guys to know that I'm back. I've finished up, like everybody else, I'm finishing up cycles. I've closed out some chapters. I'm excited for the new chapters. Um, we've all gotten a little older and a little wiser. So, uh, yeah, so I'm back. So for those of you that stayed and have, you know, been around since, and I've done readings for you, and whether that was mediumship, whether that was tarot, whether that was hypnosis, whatever, whether that was just counseling, consulting, and helping you out. Helping me out, helping you out. So I am now going to be back. When I do these videos on YouTube, it's probably going to be really general and stuff. Uh, I have a Discord for people that subscribe to my Discord. It is a fee, so but that's where you'll get the, like, for the tarot, it'll be specific to um, yeah, two signs, Um, but stick around. Let's see what we got. We've all learned a whole bunch of things. The most important thing, and I will not be wearing makeup. I will not be wearing makeup. That is one thing that I've had to, like, work through because, I was brought up to always, be, I don't know how you say it, to always, like, be presentable. But again, part of this new energy is to be authentic. So I can't stay away from the red lipstick. I'll always wear red lipstick, but I won't be wearing makeup. So um, it'll just be me, whatever that is, and however that is, because the important part is the channeling and the getting the messages through and helping people, and helping myself. I've missed you guys. I know that, periodically throughout the couple of years, throughout the 3, 4 years, I've been on and off, but I will be dedicating my main work on YouTube. So, I've written down a whole bunch of astrology trends that are coming. We've got some huge energy coming. We're finishing up the 15-year cycle with Capricorn, and I was like talking to Spirit about that. Just a quick little bit about ending the Pluto in Capricorn and moving into Aquarius, and we've seen a little bit when it retrograded into Aquarius, uh, but it made me think of how Capricorn would be looking at Aquarius or the new energy, and this is what I was getting is like this is why like if we were in Capricornian energy, which is very stable, it's like looking at the physical part, it's like about structures and about organization and about, that. And then we're seeing Aquarius energy, which is not about that. you know, this is why for us, for a lot of us, the world doesn't, it looks different. It looks weird. It looks strange. It's nothing that we've ever seen. But that particular energy is Aquarian energy. That's Aquarian energy. Aquarian doesn't fit in. Aquarian tries to fit in, but it doesn't fit in. Aquarian doesn't look like anybody else. It just doesn't. Any Aquarian, they're just really eccentric, different. They think out of the box. And when we were sitting in the Capricornian energy, when we were sitting in that stable structure, we're rebuilding, we're tearing down, everything is like physical, everything is like we've got to get it organized, we've got to do, and this is what these last 15 years have been about, but mainly the last four is when the big changes came. Five is when the big changes came for we'll just say for humanity, for the society, right? That's why the world doesn't look right. That's why we're kind of looking at it like because if you're so I hope you understand. Like if we were all sitting in Capricornian energy, right? Capricorn energy, and we're looking at the new, which is when because energy doesn't stop and start. So like the Capricorn energy doesn't stop and then the Aquarius starts, right? It just doesn't do that. That's not the way energy works. So there's a little like overflow, right? And so we were so in Capricorn energy in that stable energy and the structures and we're going to be right and this is going to be wrong and da 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 da. And then we're getting a little bit of that Aquarius energy, that energy is just different. It's weird. To some people it's weird. I'm an Aquarius ascending, so it's not weird to me. But I'm sure for people looking at me, I look strange. I behave strange. I behave eccentric. I behave weird. I don't behave like the normal society. I just don't. Never have. Never will. You know. I mean, when I was younger, I probably behaved a little bit more like my Gemini and Sagittarius side, which I'm trying to bring that back. Because it's important to be in all of the energy, right? It's important to play and have fun and be on the lighter optimistic side. Now the optimism I've never left, but Aquarian energy is just different. It's too far ahead for some people. It's the reason I don't like, I was talking to one of my friends. It's the reason I don't like to do predictions because in 2012, 2013, I was giving you guys predictions. If you've seen me for a long time, go back to my old videos. If you guys have Periscope, like you can still get the Periscope recordings. You can go back there and look at all of that. I've given all the predictions about what's happening now. Nobody understood it then, right? And there was a lot of things that I would say that I was like, yeah, y'all aren't going to understand. But I would say it and I would give the predictions, but it was so far ahead that it's just now coming to pass. Over time it's come to pass. So a lot of times I don't like to give predictions because it's way too far out. It's not going to make a difference. So, I mean, some of y'all are going to remember it. Most of y'all aren't going to remember it. Some of y'all will come back and look at my videos and say, "Oh, she did say that. Oh my gosh, she did say that." And then you can kind of that's what I was dealing with back then, and it's the reason I don't like to make predictions now. But I've come to a place where I'm not going to be the keeper of the predictions, and I'm not going to be the keeper of my talents and my gifts and we're going into a very Aquarian weird, it doesn't look right, it's not going to make any sense, and that's me. It's not going to make any sense. I don't make any sense sometimes. It doesn't look the same. It doesn't look like the norm. It makes you think out of the box. Things that I'm going to say, I'm not going to be the keeper of that anymore. I've come to terms with that. uh yeah, I've come to terms with that, and I'm whether you're ready or not, if you're ready, you'll hear me and you'll find this video. And that's just kind of how energy works, like attracts like, right? Um, but just for a lot of you, you may not understand because my predictions may be sometimes they're close, but like when it's a world prediction or when sometimes I'll say things because I'm channeling and it's 10 years ahead of time, usually about 5 or 10 years, sometimes 20 years ahead of time. I can do 1 year ahead of time, and you know I can even do the next day, whatever. But that's usually not what comes out. What usually comes out is like when we're looking at humanity and there's a whole big group, they want to show you what's kind of coming up and it's far down the line. But again, I'm not going to be the keeper of that anymore. I've come to terms we have to be authentic, and I'm going to be my authentic self. That means I'm not holding back on information. You can think I'm crazy. People have, in the past thought I was. You can think I'm not crazy. You can listen. There's a lot of wisdom, but it is what it is. So, enough about that rant. Sorry. So we're coming out of the seven cycle year. So we're coming out of the 7 year. So year seven. 2023 was year seven. We're moving into a year eight, right? And I'll do a video where we do personal year. So your personal year, you would add up your life path number and then the year uh, number, which is eight. So like for me, I'm a life path seven. So it's seven and eight. So that would be a four because it's one and five, right? I mean, so it's 15, so it's one and five. I mean, that's not a four, that's a six. So it's a 6 year for me. And I'll do videos about what those years are and what they mean. But we're moving into an 8 year. So for the 8 year, this is all about creating. This is where we're at. It's about creating, and with the other things that are going on in the stars, uh, this is also about having faith in yourself. This is Saturn in Pisces is having faith in yourself and structuring that faith and understanding that faith for you, right? Faith in yourself. We all know, if you've watched me, if you know me, you have faith in a lot of things. You have faith in magic, you have faith in the universe, you have faith in God, you have faith in source, you have faith in spirit, you have faith, but you don't have faith in yourself a lot of times. And it's time to have faith in you. That is the big message I'm getting. But the other thing is that we went through all the structures. The structures are coming down. We have till January 20th. And again, it's not a stop and start, so it's not going to stop right then and start right then. But usually, when we're moving into that next sign, uh, something will happen where you can feel it. Not right on that day, but around that time, right? So with the year eight, this is Saturn energy, so that's why the structure. That's why the again we've been in Pluto has been in Capricorn energy. It's been redoing the structures, and a little bit about Pluto that a lot of people may not understand is Pluto is here to show you that you can stand on your own, that you can do this. Doesn't mean you have to do it alone and you have to do it without any help. It means that when you come to the understanding that you are powerful, that you can do this on your own, then you make the choices from there. It's trying to give you all the information about you, just how you can move through this life with power, with grace, with power, with I guess it's just really a lot of power. We don't realize the power that we have, the power that we hold, the power that we are, and we get scared and we get fearful and we get like um indecisive, and we get our emotions involved, and then we forget who we are, and then coming into this world you really forget who you are, right? And so you're just rediscovering. Well, that's what Pluto's job is. Pluto's job is to show you I can. And Pluto is heavy in my chart. Like Pluto, Uranus and Pluto. Uranus is my ruling, it rules my chart, and Pluto is really heavy in my chart. When you look at my chart, I mean, I've got a lot of planets in the seventh house, and they're the outer planets. So a lot of big like movement goes in my chart. So I know Pluto. I've dealt with Pluto all my life. I've dealt with a lot of death, people with death. I mean, look at my job, look at my work. My work is, as a medium. So anyway, the year 8 is about power. It's about fortune. It's about wisdom. It's about being courageous. It's about not being in fear. And that is the big thing. How do I want to say this? That is the big thing that society is dealing with right now. Everybody is, I won't say everybody, the majority of society is living in fear. Fear of where's my next meal? Where's my home? Where's my lover? Where's my husband? Where's my wife? Where's my child? Where's my job? Where's my, how am I going to do this? It's just fear. And we need to get out of that fear, because that's not why we're here. We're not here to live in fear. We're here to discover ourselves, our own unique self in collaboration or in coexistence with others, right? With other souls, with other beings, with other, all of that. So this year, the 8 year, we came from a 7 year, which was because I'm a year seven. My life path is seven. I've always had my foot in two worlds, right? I've always had my foot in this world and the other worlds, right? Or the other energies or the other dimensions or whatever. Um, but and so this last year there was a lot of that, like you could see spirituality coming back, you can see that people trying to understand energy and movement and all of this, right? And so they were discovering that, and then where we are with that. So they were discovering spirituality, energy. They were discovering other worlds. We had, aliens stuff show up, and trust me, that's going to get even more. I mean, I'm excited for where we're going, but that's going to get even more. But this year, this next year, is about going back after you've understood some of the spirituality part, some of the energetic part, reevaluate. For those of you that already knew the spirituality part, reevaluating that for yourself. That's why we have all these retrogrades. Let's go back and look. Let's go back and think. Let's go back and figure out how we fit into this, right? Now we're moving into the 8 year, which is you could it's Saturn, it's business, it's getting back to money. It's getting back to what are we going to call money? What is the money? Is it such a bad thing like they told us? Why do people always have all these hangups about money? Is that, what we've been taught about money and abundance and all of that, is that right? Is that true? I mean, that's what we're going to be figuring out in this 8 year. And this 8 year is going to have a lot of, because we'll go over this later, a lot of Neptune is back. Neptune's been in retrograde, so all of the magic that we had like back then is coming back. And so you're going to see money come from nowhere, opportunities come from nowhere. Um, Life, things that you have been wishing and wanting and praying and meditating, and the manifestation's not working, and why is it not working, and I've done this before, and I've learned all of these things and all of these tools, and I have all these modalities, and I can't even do it, and what's wrong with it? It's nothing wrong with you. There's never been anything wrong with you. And I'm laughing because I think the same thing too, right? Like I told you a long time ago, I came here to do it with you. I didn't come here to sit on a mountain and meditate for the rest of the world, right? Sometimes I wish I could just go do that, but I can't because I came here to do it with you. Anyway, so uh, the 8 is about us understanding how powerful we are. So magic is coming back. So those manifestations are going to be coming through. Like stuff's going to come out of thin air, like it did in 2000. What was it? 12, 14, 13, 14. Um, Stuff's going to come out of thin air. Opportunity is going to come out of thin air. That's not what society wants you to think. I mean, uh, the powers that be or whatever. which is wrong because there shouldn't be any powers to be, right? We are the powerful ones, every one of us. Um, but they have wanted us scared. They've wanted us to not have those things and live the way that they want us. They want us living in fear, and we need to come out of that fear. We need to understand our power. So the universe is going to do as it always does. It's our time. It's the time for us to have abundance. It's the time for magic to show up. It's the time for opportunities to do. It's the time for, but I'm not saying everything else is going away, right? Because if you know anything about living on this earth, it's about your perception. You came here to perceive things in your way, and you came here. So if you're one to perceive things, things always go wrong. I hate this world. I can't stand people always do me wrong. Like if that's your belief, then that's going to keep coming at you. But if you can change that, and if your belief is things are always coming out right, these are just cycles. People come, people go, it goes up and down, but I'm going to be fine. That, if that's your belief, then guess what? Those opportunities are going to come. And if you're one that's like, it doesn't matter if such and such happens, if I lose my job, it just means another one's coming. Guess what? Another one's coming. So this is about our belief system, how what we believe, not what we were told to believe or taught to believe, but what we believe. So this is a very powerful year, and I'm sorry that I'm keep going on, but let me get through the astrological trends. I told you this is going to be long. It's because I haven't been here in a while. Okay, so the upper energy of the eight is wisdom. It's fortune. People are going to be very fortunate this year. And I'm talking about those that haven't been fortunate in a long time are going to be very fortunate this year. It's about being courageous. It's about belief in yourself. It's about authenticity, right? Um, it's also because it's Saturn. It's about determination. It's about like, oh, I see it. I'm not stopping until I get this. Period. The end. Like I'm not freaking going anywhere, and I'm just gonna keep. I'm gonna do what I've always seen that I was supposed to do. That's for some of you, right? Uh, but we have to be careful because we're working in this energy. In the lower part of that, what we say the lower part of that, it's very ego driven, which you do need your ego. We always make the mistake, or we used to, I'm not sure how people are now, but they make the mistake of thinking, oh, I got to put my ego aside. I got to like, make my ego go away. No, you don't. You need to have your ego. The ego is very important. What's what you need to do though is balance the ego. You need to learn to work with your ego. And that means you have to know your ego. That means you have to go inside and know your ego because the ego is very powerful. The ego shows you your power and we are coming into a powerful time, but you need to understand who you are. So the lower parts or the unevolved people, the unevolved parts of the eight would be um, very ego driven where it's not in balance. So this is what you're going to be working on is learning to balance that ego. You need the ego. You need to say, yes, I did a good job. Yes, I should be known for that. Yes, I should get compensated for that. Yes, I am very valuable. Yes, like that's your ego, and you should have that in balance. You should absolutely have an ego. So for those of you trying to take away the ego, that's not it. You need to balance the ego. Okay? So, very ego driven in the 8 in this next year. Also you can we're going to have a lot of, if it's unevolved, depression because it didn't come the way you wanted or you didn't get what you want at the exact time that you needed to, or you just gave up or whatever that. It's not to diminish people, but to go over and over and over and over and over and over and over the things that have happened. And I've told y'all before, if you're depressed, you're living too much in the past, right? If you have a lot of anxiety, you're living too much in the future. You need to live in the now, right? And that, again, that's not to diminish anybody's depression because it's going to be wide. I mean, we're going to see a lot of it in the 8 year. We're going to see a lot of it in this next year. Um, yeah, we're going to see a lot of it in this next year. So be kind to people. Again, because whatever you're giving out is going to come back to you if that's your belief system. Um, People are trying their hardest and they just may not be where you're at. But we're going to have uh, depression come out. We're going to have pride come out, a lot of pride, which is good. It's really good. But to be too prideful, we have to make sure to understand that we didn't come here to live and be in our own world. We came here to co create with others. We came here to co habitate with others. We came here to understand. And I know some of you are star seeds. Some of you have never been here before. I mean, I'm talking to a whole bunch of people, right? Some of you don't even believe that there are star seeds or aliens, or I mean, and you probably never will. Sorry, my mic goes out. And you probably never will. Some of you will not believe that there are aliens even when an alien's sitting and standing in front of you. They just won't believe it. It's just their belief system, and that's okay. Um, but um, just remember to have everything in balance because that's the 8 year, right? Okay. And so the 8 years understanding that you're coming into your personal power. So 2024 is going to be a lot about people coming into their personal power. There's going to be a lot of millionaires and billionaires made. Um, and there's going to be a lot of people that go homeless, and it's kind of your belief system. There's going to be opportunity for those. Just like there's opportunity for those to make billions, there's opportunity for those to make millions, and there's opportunity for those not to be homeless. But that's kind of on your path, and that's where you can come visit me, come see me. Let's talk about what's going on. Um, but we're gonna have to balance. We're gonna have to understand where we are, who we are, what we want, how we want to live here. But there's going to be a lot of reward this year. There's going to be a lot of reward. So I'm excited. The tarot card for this is the strength card. And then, in Chinese astrology, yeah, Chinese astrology, it's the year of the dragon. And that's very prosperous. Um, but just because somebody says, well, um, if you're the whatever snake, it's not going to be good. But if you're the dragon, it's going to be good. No, not really. There's magic. I mean, normally I would say, okay, let's go kind of by those things, but Neptune is now direct, and so there's magic coming. There's a lot of magic coming, and that's my understanding for this next year. There's gonna be a lot of magic coming. It's coming back, and it's just like so. Neptune has been retrograded, which means all the magic was inward, and we had to work on ourselves, and we had to understand the modalities that we wanted to use, and how do you get better at something? You practice. And because we couldn't make it good, we couldn't externally do the magic, or the magic wouldn't like show up externally. It was showing up internally, and we had to practice internally, if that makes any sense. All right. So, right now we still have Mercury, Jupiter, and Uranus. Yeah, we still have Mercury, Jupiter, and Uranus. If you look here, we still have Uranus, Jupiter, and where's Mercury? Why can't I find Mercury? Here it is. Okay. Uranus, Jupiter, and Mercury are still retrograde. Um, Remember, retrogrades are all about us like going within and figuring it out within. And because it was a bigger energy, we all had to like go within and figure out how we're going to co create this, how we're going to move forward, because we are going into a very, it is for the next 20 years. It's not going we've gotten glimpses this last year of how people are standing there and saying, I don't even know this world anymore. I don't understand it. It doesn't look like what it used to. That's that's Aquarian energy, and that's where we're going. It's not even going to look like you think it doesn't look like it now. It's really gonna look like it in 5 years or 3 years. And as we get more and more into the time, it's not going to look like it at all. We are, but Aquarian energy loves tradition. So if it's valuable and it's tradition, it will stay because that's Aquarian energy. Aquarians love tradition. They may not practice it, but they would love to. Um, but they love tradition. So if it's traditional and it's valuable and it's worthy and it's someplace to like rest our laurels or rest and be safe in the tradition, then that will stay. And I'm talking about on a worldview, right? So, school systems may change because of the structure of Capricorn and Pluto being in Capricorn, but with it going into Aquarius, we may change the way we do school. We may change how we're taught in school, which is probably going to happen. But if it's tradition and it's a good thing, and Aquarian energy values it, or we as a society value, or we as a globe, global value, then it will stay, right? That's just kind of to give you an explanation. Um, so soon, because this is the 27th, soon, so Neptune's gone direct. But soon, Jupiter's going to go direct, and then Uranus is going to go direct, and then we've got some huge aspects in this next year. Saturn's gone direct, and Chiron's gone direct. Chiron just went direct. So Chiron is that wounded healer. Chiron is being at the right place at the wrong time, right? And so Chiron's getting the, excuse my language, shit into the stick and always like being accused of and in the wrong time, and that's Chiron, right? And it was retrograded, so it was about us understanding again with our own selves why. How can we make this better? Because this always happened to me. I learned to do this, and now I'm better for it. Like that's Chiron, and now that it's gone direct, it's no longer about the inside. It's about us taking what we learned with Chiron and projecting it and doing actions. And that's a big thing in 2024. Action, action, action. It's no longer internal. It's no longer in your head. It's no longer in your heart. It's no longer you just saying those things to yourself. It's actually taking action to do the things that you've learned over these last 4 years. Does that make sense? So, uh, on January 20th, we have the big aspect that I've been talking about. So I'm not going to talk about it anymore. But Pluto, let me look. Today's 27th. Hold on just a second as it moves. Let me go back. Okay, so we got a little glimpse of how Aquarius energy is working. Remember, I told you you can go back and look at my other videos where I'm talking about how Pluto packed up his stuff, went to live with Aquarius, just went to visit Aqua. And you know how Aqua is very strange and they like their space. And I'd made that little analogy and I said, Aquarius let him in the front door and said, okay, you can stay with me, but you have to stay in the living room. You can't use any of my stuff. And so Pluto was like looking around, looking to see. And so how that relates to us is when Pluto, retrograded into Aquarius, we saw the AI, we saw all of that stuff. We were getting a glimpse. We were just getting a glimpse of what's coming. That's not even. I mean, it was a glimpse. It's like Pluto looking in the living room and looking into the other room, but he could only see part of it, right? He could only see a little bit. That's actually what happened, right? That's what happened is that Pluto was, and then he had to go back to Capricorn and finish up these structures, finish up these organizations, finish up with Capricorn to say, have you restructured what you need to restructure? Did you understand that you can do this on your own? Did you understand what you liked and what you didn't like? What do we need to, this part needs to come down. This part, you're being stubborn, Capricorn. It needs to come down. And so we've been doing that over these last few months, and now he's ready to move back into Aquarius, and he's telling Capricorn, I'm going to be in Aquarius for a little bit, but I'm coming back. I'm coming back one last time. So you got one last time to figure these structures out, to figure this organization out, to figure this what you're going to do out, right? So don't forget for us these things that are going to kind of not be highlighted anymore, like the school system, the healthcare system, all that's been highlighted, we're finishing those up. The government, all of that is going to be not, it's going to still be a little highlighted. It's just not going to be because everything's going to look so different that our attention's going to be over here with the new energy, right? But we still have this that we're going to figure out, and it's going to come back around because Pluto goes back to Capricorn. It retrogrades at some point and then comes back. And then once he comes back, he's finishing. He's done. That this is not the last time. One more time, then he's done, and then we're full blown into Aquarius, right? So, June 20th, this is where Pluto goes into Aquarius, right here, and we've got the sun. So, when I'm looking at this, I see Pluto is really gonna he's gonna say, I'm coming, I'm bringing all my clothes, I'm bringing most of my stuff, I'm gonna leave the bigger stuff there for right now because I gotta go back, but it's time for me to move in. It's time for me to go in the guest bedroom, right? And then the sun here uh is going to light. The sun is shining. It's conjunct with Pluto, which tells me it's going to light Pluto up. It's going to show us a lot of fear. It's going to show us what we've been leaning on too much, right? So some of us have been leaning on the government too much. Some of us have been leaning on the healthcare system too much. Some of us have been leaning on um, our families too much. Some of us have been leaning on people too much. Some of us have been leaning on our jobs too much. Some of us, whatever we've been leaning on, I'm not saying it's going to happen. Things are going to happen right then. I'm saying it's going to show us. So it's going to show us. So you're going to start getting some evidence of this. But again, remember, Pluto's job is to help you understand that it doesn't matter. You can do this on your own. You're very powerful. That if you lose a job, you probably got another better one working less hours with more money coming, but you can't get it because you're so stuck on the leaning too much on that job. Or uh, the healthcare system. And I won't say too much about those things right now, but with the sun conjunct Pluto, it's going to tell you, it's going to show us all. And that depends on where Pluto is in your sign, like in your chart, right? I'm thinking about doing a Pluto for the generations because for the boomers, for the Gen Xers, because I'm Gen X, for the boomers, for the Gen Xers, for the some millennials, the zennials, and the Gen Alpha and Gen Z, right? So I'm thinking about doing a Pluto for them, for all the generations, so we kind of understand how to work with it in the next 20 years. But so we've got this here, and then we've got it. I think it's here. No, wait, where is it? Yeah, so so the Sun and Pluto are going to sextile Neptune. So I feel like, remember, Neptune to me is magic. Neptune to me is the manifestations that we can do. Neptune to me is bringing the other worlds into here. And so I feel like uh, when it goes sextile, sextile is a good aspect. So when it goes sextile, it's kind of going to give you an opportunity to change these things. So again, if you've been leaning too much on your job, I'm just going to use job. If you've been leaning too much on your job, but you really know that you shouldn't have this, and you have really wanted and been using all the tools and been meditating and been using these modalities to like switch jobs or get a better job or work less and get paid more, like it's going to give you that opportunity, but it may scare you because when Pluto works, he brings fear. So it may scare you, but know that it's a good aspect. And then you get to decide. That's up to you. You have to be authentic in yourself. Authenticity. Who and what? Y'all have been doing this for 4 years. Who am I? What do I want? How do I see things? Saturn is working in, if you can see, Saturn is working in Pisces. Pisces has no boundaries. Saturn has nothing but boundaries, right? So Saturn came into Pisces and was like, we need to put some boundaries in here because you are just way out there. Like, you're way out there. You're too woo woo, right? You're too woo woo. And I love that you're woo woo, but we need to put some structure to your woo woo. We need to put some structure to the magic. We need to, like, show the people the physical, the boundaries that we can do magic. Show them how it is done, but help them understand about belief systems and belief, right? And so I feel like there's some opportunity coming here, and that's for January 20th. That's when it comes. Okay. Then we're going to move on to, and I'm sorry, I know this is, I knew it was going to be a long video. So, April 20th, we've got other aspects, but these are the main aspects, right? And so we're going to go to April. All right, so April 20th, and I will make a. I'll probably make a video for each one of these aspects, in the coming months. Hold on. So April 20th, Jupiter. Jupiter conjuncts Uranus. This is a big, big change again. We're going to be doing a lot of changes. Again, we've been changing our inner core for the last 3 years, 4 years, right? It's time to change the outer stuff. So where y'all, a lot of you probably have been sitting in is like, I've been waiting for the freaking change. I've changed myself. I understand what I think I need to understand, but I can't seem to get it to show up, right? Well, 2024 is about it showing up. Okay? So, we have Uranus and we have Jupiter. Jupiter is the expansion, right? Jupiter is good luck. Jupiter is optimistic. And this is a very big transit that's coming. This is a very big aspect. It's Uranus. I told you guys, my chart is ruled by Uranus. That means shit can change on a dime. That means I could be going along, you could be going along, and bam, it just turns. It just turns. It just does it. Right? That's Uranus. So, Jupiter is going to be really big. Jupiter's optimistic. Jupiter's, and for this, I'm saying and I'm not going to go too far deep into it because I'll make a video about it, but I feel like you're going to be in this optimistic area, in this area of your life. So wherever Taurus is, this area of your life, that's the house that it's in. So that's the area of your life. So wherever Taurus is, Jupiter is going to be expanding that. Some of you, so for me, it's like in my second house, so it's like more value, things that I value, the way that I make my money is going to be more, right? It's going to get bigger. And it's very optimistic. But Uranus will come in here and change shit. So Uranus doesn't mean to scare people, but people don't like change, and so it's scary. It's a little fearful, and we're already gun shy right now because we're fearful. Like there's a lot of people that are still living in fear. I want to help get people out of that. You're powerful. You're powerful and you can do magic and you can do these wondrous things, right? But you're also come in here and the way that you think it was going to go, it's going to go something else. That's just that. Okay? That's all I'll say about that right now. There'll be a video on it. Okay? Then we go to May 3rd. So, May 3rd. Hold on a second. Sorry. So, May 3rd. Sorry. It's not May 3rd. It's May 23rd. I wrote all these down. So, May 23rd. May 23rd, we have Jupiter sextiling Neptune. That is some magic right there. That's going to be some freaking magic. So check to see where Jupiter is in your chart, and check to see, I'm sorry, check to see where Taurus is in your chart, and check to see where Pisces is in your chart, because they're going to be sextiling, which is a great aspect. Magic, manifestations, and this is stuff that you've already worked on. You don't have to work on this stuff. You've already done this for 4 years. Don't work on stuff. Just know. This is just belief time. This is just action time. You don't have to know. You already know. You already know. You've done this for 4 years. You already know. For some of you, you've done it since what, 2010 with me? You've done it for 10 years, 12 years, 15 years. Like you already know. You're already powerful. You're just coming to the understanding and belief that you really are powerful. You're like, this year you're going to be like, wow, that shit did work. Anyway, there's a sextile in that. Jupiter with Uranus, and then it's sextiling Neptune. Jupiter, the planet of luck and optimism, and Uranus, that can change on a dime. Like, if people like the lottery or a casino or stuff like that, like Jupiter and Uranus could bring millions in, could bring billions in, could bring a new love in could bring like it's that kind of with Neptune, it's that kind of magic where you're like, I've been single for 20 years. I'm never going to find anybody. I want somebody. I know that I want somebody. I've been working on that for the last 4 years. You know, all of that. And you're like, I don't even go out. I don't even do anything. With this aspect, I can see, like, I know I've said this story before. I did a reading on somebody years ago who hadn't been dating in like 15 years, 10 years or something. And I was like, well, you're about to meet somebody. And they were like, there's no way, I don't ever do anything. And they didn't believe me. And I was like, okay, well, you don't have to believe me, but I'm telling you what they're telling me. They're saying you're about to meet somebody. And she said, when? I was like, it's in your now. I don't know. It's in your now. So now to me, when I was looking at the cards, can be nat one, like now, to 2 weeks. So, and she was, of course, she didn't believe me. She didn't have to believe me. It doesn't matter, right? She didn't have to believe me. So I said, just email me when it happens. I'm so excited for you. And then we went on with the rest of the reading, right? 3 hours later, I get an email from her, and I didn't read it till like that night. And she was like, "You're not gonna believe this." And she met somebody. Still didn't believe it, and it took her a while. And she took me through the whole journey because she kept emailing me and let me know. And then, like every year, I get pictures of them because they're married. you know, every year she tells me how they're doing. It's like that kind of magic. It's like that. It's like there was no way. Her heart was open. She was ready. She'd been ready, but it wasn't her time. It wasn't her time. And then when it was her time, she didn't believe it, right? So that's the kind of magic I'm talking about. That this Jupiter. I'm not saying that's gonna happen to everybody, but I've seen it. I've seen it, right? So magic can come, opportunities can come, abundance can come, lovers can come, husbands can come, wives can come, children can come. Things that you think that are not possible are possible at this time, okay? And that's just a little bit. I'm going to talk again, I'm going to do probably videos on all of these. So, that's Jupiter sextiling cuz Uranus is here. I know it's at 5 degrees. I like my orbs at like 3 degrees to really make a pronounced thing, but uh, I just feel like, and then Venus is right there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I see magic. That's what I see. I mean, that's what I see. Okay, and then we go to May 25th, and May 25th is where Jupiter enters Gemini, right? And so Jupiter entering Gemini is gonna bring luck to the mutable signs. It's going to expand where the mutable signs are. So Gemini, uh, Virgo, Sagittarius. I'm trying to think of the other one. Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius is the only ones I can think of. Um, anyway, so that's a big one too. Is Jupiter entering Gemini because it's been. That's the other thing too. We have been in water and earth for so long. And those of you that are water and earth and have pronounced water and earth in your charts, excuse me, you're used to this. But those of us that have air and fire, we're not used to it. we had to like we had to deal with our feelings. We had to deal with our emotions. We had to deal with ourselves, and it was not good because we don't know how to do it. right? And so we're moving into back into fire air, right? And I'm appreciative of that time that I got to move, that I got to sit and understand more about the self and the emotions and the all of that with water and earth and the stability that earth brings, um, and just how I want to do it that way, right? So now we're going to be moving into lighter energy, air and fire, air and fire. So that's action, action, thought, action, thought, action, thought. That's what 20 foot 24 is, right? So as it moves into Gemini, we're going to feel lighter. We're going to feel so optimistic. But we're not just going to feel it because it's air. We don't have to feel it to know it. We can know it. right? This is air. So to me, that means it's going to show up. It's going to be there. We're going to see, instead of feeling optimistic and being like, I'm just going to be optimistic and I'm going to, instead of feeling it, we're going to see it. We're going to see the optimism. We're going to see that things are going well. Things are going to show up. We're going to see the opportunity. We're going to see the smiles. We're going to see the good things happening, because then that's going to make us think it is good. It is happy. It is bigger. It is opportunity. It is abundance. It is prosperity. Like, to me, when it goes into Gemini, is more of the, we're seeing it because of, in our mind we're seeing it. How do I say that? We actually see it in our external, so that we interpret it in our mind as optimism, as opportunity, as abundance, as things going well, happiness, right? So that's going to be happening, and it's going to affect people like Gemini. It's going to affect everybody, but you're going to really feel it, Geminis and Sages and Virgos, and like, it's been really tough for people that have a lot of air and fire like me, uh, to have to like sit in the earth and water for the last couple of years. But I'm glad we did it. Okay, then we go to June 2nd. And June 2nd, this is when we get our first good look at the good parts that are not fearful with Pluto. Because there's going to be a trine with Jupiter. It's going to trine Pluto. So Jupiter is going to trine Pluto right here, right? So Jupiter is going to make this bigger. And if you've been honoring Pluto, and we'll just say this on a societal level, on a global level, we could see where, let's just talk about AI, because that's kind of all that's what we're thinking about when we're thinking about Pluto and the new era and all of that, right? So we could see where AI does so well and gets bigger and gets recognition, and it's maybe it's the next phase, something good comes out of it, like uh maybe it's incorporated into the healthcare system. I'm just kind of thinking about things. Maybe it goes into the healthcare system where it's automated to make it not just more efficient, but everybody's heard. And or maybe because of AI, a disease is cured, or maybe because of AI, people's jobs aren't going to be taken away for like, they may be like, I don't know how to explain this. Like, they may be, everybody's fearful that AI is going to come take your job, right? It's not going to happen. But maybe this is where we incorporate AI into the job, and it gives us more money, but we have to work less, right? Like stuff, something like that. But it could also be, the bad aspects of Pluto. It kind of depends, because we're in the early stages. And again, this is just a scenario I've got in my head. But Jupiter, whatever that is, Jupiter's going to be expanding that. Jupiter's going to be, but it's a trine, so it's a good thing. So when it's a trine, it means it's an easy thing. But to me, trines mean, here's the opportunity. It's up to you to take it, right? I'm sorry. That's what a sextile is. Trines are here to, like, here's just a gift for you. So it may be that Pluto and Jupiter gift society, or gift on a global level, something to humanity, right? So this is going to be, to me, it's a good time because it's a trine. Um, but we'll see how that plays out, right? I'm not channeling right now, so I'm just kind of getting scenarios in my head. And then we go into, so again, are you seeing the pattern? We've got a lot of Jupiter. We got a lot of expansion on the things that we've learned. Like, for the past 4 years, we've been learning. For the past 4 years, we've been inward, and now Jupiter is just expanding everything because it's aspecting everything. So it's like talking to this planet, it's talking to that planet, it's talking to to Pluto. It's going to be talking to everybody. It's going to be talking to all the planets, right? It's going to make everything bigger. So everything's external now. And then we have August 19th. So August 19th, and we have all the retrogrades, and it's weird because this year, this 2024, we're not going to have a Venus retrograde. If I'm seeing that right, I have to go back and look, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't retrograde this year. Yeah, or something like that. Yeah, I have to go back and look. Anyway, uh, August 19th. Hold on. Okay, so August 19th. This is where we're going to get a little bit of like, remember, in the first few months, in the first, what, 6 months, 8 months, we're going to get to like really external. We get to, it's almost like walking into the candy store. We get to try new things. We're going to get to try new things. This is like from January to August. We're going to get to try opportunities coming in. We're making decisions. We're doing things. Da, 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 da. And then Daddy Saturn. He loves to come in. It's like when you have a sleepover and everybody's up and jumping around and you get food and you get movies and you get games and you get da 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 da, and then it's like 1 o'clock in the morning and your Daddy Saturn, your father comes in and he's like, y'all need to get to bed now. Like y'all have had a lot of fun. It's time to go to bed. That's Daddy Saturn. Okay, so Saturn is going to put a little bit of stop or a little bit of structure to Jupiter. Jupiter's been running wild. He's been expanding everybody. He's been like, yes, let's do this. Yes, let's give him that. Yes, let's do this. Let's give him the love. Let's give him the house. Let's give him the job. Let's give him the money. Let's give him the peace with their family. Let's just make everything bigger and better, right? Daddy Saturn comes in and squares on Jupiter. So Jupiter, Saturn shows up right here. Saturn shows up and he's like, hey, 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 Jupiter, you've been running a little wild now. It's time to settle down a little bit, okay? Just time to settle down just a little bit, right? So Saturn is going to be squaring Jupiter, which is going to put some form. He's like, you can't just be running wild and like we need some stability here. We need to know exactly where we're headed. We need to like make a plan. We need to like figure out how to do this. And Jupiter's in Gemini and she don't want to listen. I mean, she'll listen, but she don't really want to listen, right? And Saturn is in Pisces where he's already like having to do extra work, right? So, he's going to square Jupiter. And so in those areas of your life, you can see some formation coming to the choices that you've made from the opportunities that you've had, right? And so in that time period, that whatever choices you made or opportunities that came up, you may have to reevaluate. And that doesn't mean a retrograde where I'm going in and reevaluate. That just means I got to pivot a little bit. I've got to like show some more work. I've got to like do some extra focus on this area to make it bigger. To like Jupiter wants to expand it and Saturn is like, you can expand it, but they need to put some work in. They need to like, they need to put some work in. They need to show me that they really want it, because that's how Daddy Saturn is, right? And so that's a square. It is going to be a hard aspect, which means you got to put more work in. All right. And so then on September 1st, Pluto retrogrades. This is where he goes back into Capricorn. Okay. Pluto is going to retrograde, go back into Capricorn. And again, I will make a video on each one of these because there's so much going on in 2024. But he's going to go back into Capricorn and he's going to finish off what he started in 20, I mean in yeah, 2008. So, again, this is the ending. This is the last straw. This is where Capricorn, so if you're a Capricorn or if you're a cardinal sign, um, yeah, or even if you're, yeah, if you're cardinal sign, so cancers, Capricorns. I can't remember all the cardinal signs right now. I don't know why those are like skip missing me. But anyway, uh, so those things that you kind of still see and have seen for the last 2 years, 5 years, 15 years, 8 years, 10 years, and you were like, I don't see, I know I should change this, but I don't know, I don't want to change it. I'd rather somebody else change it for me. I'd rather somebody like leave me, or the job get taken from me, or I'd rather life do it for me, because y'all can get that way, you cardinal signs. Yeah, it's gonna show up. This is the last straw. This is it on September 1st. It's gonna stay there, and it's not moving back until November 19th. So you've got from September 1st to November 19th. On a global level, we're going to see the finality of these structures that have needed to come down. So when I say Pluto will destroy, he will destroy and transform. But if so, it's one or the other. Either he will take it completely away and you start over, or you restructure it. So, because whatever it is, you're moving into that new energy, and it is going to be restructured or it is going to be built again, right? And so, in your life, if you needed to restructure something and you didn't, it's going to get restructured. Usually, it won't get a restructure, you'll get it taken away because that's Pluto, right? So, but on a global level, these things like the healthcare system, the government, the just even the fact that, senators get to stay forever and ever in their job. Um, and I'm not political by any means. I'm just showing you the structures. Government, law, healthcare, school, all of that. If you don't restructure, I'm telling y'all right now, if it's not restructured, it's going to be taken. And now at that time is probably when it's going to be taken. So, but for on a personal level, if there was anything that needed to be restructured, like to me, if you're like, okay, I I can't get rid of my family, so it needs to be restructured, right? So you can't like just get rid of your family, but you can restructure how you approach them, how much time you spend with them. Do you guys go into therapy? Like just restructuring the whole dynamics of your family dynamic, right? That's just an example. But it's going, you're going to have from September 1st through November 19th to be able to finish this out. And I've worked with Pluto all my life, and I told you Pluto's prominent. You need to look at it. For those of you that have not wanted to look at it, you need to look at it and you need to restructure it, okay? That way it won't get taken away. And trust me, I've done it where I didn't restructure it and it got taken away or they got taken away. Okay? Take it from me, somebody who knows. Okay? Then December 6th, we have Mars that goes retro in Leo, which is not going to be a good time for Leos. Anyway, Mars is going to retrograde in Leo on December 6th. And then on December 24th, we're going to have that second square of Jupiter and Saturn. Okay? So, again, it's to me, it's not a punishment. It's a square, so it's a hard aspect, but it's about you showing Daddy Saturn that the opportunities to make things bigger, you're going to put the work in. And all that's telling the universe and all that's telling Saturn is that I really do want this, right? So it shouldn't be hard work. I mean, it's not that it won't be hard work for some people. It's just that, when you do something that you love, it doesn't seem like hard work. That's all he's asking you to do, right? And so you get that second square on December 24th. Okay? So I've made this long enough. I want to thank you guys. I will be doing other videos. And again, I'm going to like do videos on probably each one of these aspects. Um, yeah. So I hope you enjoyed it. Please be sure to like, do share this, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. I really appreciate it. This is liking, sharing, and subscribing, and even commenting helps enable me to do this more. And again, I want to do this full time again on YouTube, and I am restructuring just like everybody else. I'll be doing a lot of, I'll be bringing out those other videos, but I'm going to do some tarot. And if you like just reading, I'm doing my reading my books to you guys, which are really awesome because it's fantasy. And I think that we need to get into fantasy because magic's here. It's here and it's going to be here for a while. And we've learned a lot of things. And I'm interested to see what magic people have. I want to see what y'all have come up with in your lives. Okay? So, I love you, love you, love you. Thank you so very much. I'll see you soon. Bye.